afternoon, everyone. Happy Super Bowl day and welcome back to the channel. I am back home and I'm about to do a very quick turnaround to make a dip and go out to a Super Bowl gathering. But before I did that, I was way too excited. Of course, I couldn't wait to put the makeup table in place and I love it. It's perfect. It's funny because my mom has been trying to get me to take this for years, and for the longest time I was like, it's not the right fit. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. And so after thinking about it for a long time and like finally getting a little setup in the guest room to do my hair and makeup, it was time. So I'm very glad I was able to bring this back. It's very special and it works perfectly in this room. I have to do a little bit of adjusting on the legs because our floors, being as old as they are not very even. So we just need to kind of like wedge them up a little bit. But for now I just have a couple of blocks in place so that it's relatively stable and level. But I'm excited to start using this to get ready because now I get to look out the window, I have better light, and I just get to enjoy this side of the house. Now I'll be getting ready at this station instead of the dresser, which it was a good temporary workspace, but I couldn't like tuck my legs in, so it was a little bit awkward. So I will show you this really quickly, and then I'm going to run downstairs and whip together a quick 7-layer dip for the Super Bowl get together. It is a crowd favorite. We bring it to nearly every gathering and everyone loves it. So this is the bench, and actually because our floors are slanted, I have this up on a block. So that like raises this up a couple inches, which allows me to actually tuck the stool in. Normally, if it's like on a level floor, I can't do that. So it kind of works out perfectly. And this just tucks away so that we don't have anything in the way here when you're kind of like using the room. So I really like that, but it's got a couple of drawers. It's not very wide, so it doesn't block the windows, and much bigger mirror. So that's very helpful for getting ready. And I just love the style. It's like a nice dark wood. I don't know if it's cherry, but it kind of has a little bit of a red tint to it. And now I can put my chair back in the corner, which I love, and we still got plenty of space to walk around the bed and walk into the room. So yeah, very, very happy with this piece, and now I get to use it all the time. I'm getting ready, curling my hair. I hope you all had a nice Super Bowl. Ours was fun, but honestly the game was a little bit boring. Not a whole lot of excitement until the end there, but still good to get together with friends nonetheless. Lots of great food. That's one of my favorite parts of get-togethers like that. All of the snacks and appetizers. In addition to what I made, Matt made a salmon roulette, I think it was called, which I didn't try, but a lot of people thought it was lovely. So if that's something you're interested in, I can drop the recipe he made. I didn't get a picture of it or anything, but everyone was very happy with it. So I'm just going to finish curling my hair, getting ready, and then I will jump into some work. I'm hoping at lunchtime or maybe this evening or sometime this week I can work on my planting schedule So like when I'm going to get all my seeds started, I want to have that pretty sorted out just so that I'm not planning as I go and I can just have like a spreadsheet printed out and work through that as we get closer to the outdoor planting season. So I've really got to get started on that because we're in February and things need to start growing soon. My hope is to get a few seeds started this week, even if they're just for a test. So I will work on that. I have to get ready to host a couple of friends who are visiting this weekend. So excited to see them before they have a baby number 2. And I think we're supposed to get a little bit of snow this week. Right now there's almost no snow on the ground. It's almost all melted. It's such a tease when you get a mild week in February. You're like all gung-ho about spring and then you get a snowstorm again and brings you back to reality. So hopefully it's not too bad and it doesn't affect travel for our friends. Either way, I'll be happy to have some snow on the ground because right now it's just very brown and sad outside. But I'm enjoying my new makeup table. Much better light, I'll tell you that. It's really helpful when you can actually see what you're doing. And I love looking out the windows because I get to look out to the fields and it's so pretty. So I'm looking forward to enjoying this view as I get ready in the mornings. I will share some indoor plant propagation updates. I see some roots happening, so I'm very excited about that. That means I did something right. So I will share that just so you can see what they're starting to look like. Still on the plant train. I guess this is Garden Central right now. I will catch up with you in a bit. So a little checkup on our philodendron roots. If you see right there in the bottom of the glass, there's that little brown root with a little white bit on it right there. That is the new root that is growing out of the aerial root that eventually we'll be able to plant and obviously will give the plant nutrients. So you can also see one right there. And let's see, do I have any others? There's some right there. So it's been almost 2 weeks and we're starting to get some little roots. This might not take months like I was anticipating, which would be cool. The pothos is a little bit slower, but you can see right there in the middle, there's a little like white tip in that nest of brown, and that's the start of a new root. And really all these little brown nodes are gonna turn into roots. So these are getting there. They're just gonna take a little bit longer. And then the snake plant, we've got nothing yet. Doesn't look like we've got anything starting there, so these might take a while or just not work. We will see. The indoor garden is thriving. I think I'm gonna harvest this week to maybe use in like a stir fry or something. And then these are still happy, just growing a little more slowly. So either this week or next week, I'm gonna pop in some new seeds and soil and see if we can get something new to grow in there. Alrighty, for dinner I am going to do chicken sausage and veggies on a sheet pan, and then I'm going to make one of our favorites, which are the smooshed and crispy potatoes with salt and vinegar, sour cream from Molly Baz's Cook This book, which is one of my favorite cookbooks. I think I've probably gifted this to like 3 different people. I love her cooking, I love her vibe, I love how this book is organized, like the shopping list and the way the recipe is written. It makes it really easy to follow. Not to mention, like, everything in here is fantastic, so highly recommend. But yeah, I'm gonna make the smooshed and crispy potatoes with salt and vinegar sour cream. It's really simple. It's just Yukon Gold potatoes, sour cream, salt, olive oil, pepper, and white vinegar. And you kind of like mix the vinegar and olive oil into the sour cream to make like a dipping sauce. Usually I make the potatoes with the sheet pan, but I figured I'd switch it up today. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna probably put on a TV show. I've been rewatching The Good Witch. I don't know if anybody has heard of that, but it's just such a like wholesome, adorable, magical Hallmark television show, which I'm a sucker for. So if you're ever looking for something just like easy to watch, makes your heart happy, I think it's on Netflix. I'm gonna pop that on, get to cooking, and then afterwards I'm gonna sit down and work through my planting schedule. So I will show you a little bit of that once I get started. Just finished eating dinner and I brought my seed binder and laptop upstairs. I'm gonna sit in bed and work on my planting schedule a little bit, and then I am going to bed early because I am wiped out. Today just like took all the energy out of me. I don't know what it is, but I'll try to make a little bit of progress. Alright, so this is taking a little bit longer than expected, but I think this is going to be really helpful once I start planting. So I'm making this master spreadsheet, which includes all the details I need for sowing seeds, planting the plants once they're hardened off, where I'm going to put them, etc. So basically I'm pulling up the website for every single seed packet that I have. I'm including the supplier, the quantity I'm going to grow, what the plant is, the sun exposure, hardiness, days to germination, seed depth, seed spacing, row spacing, what else? Thinning, plant spacing once they're sort of in the beds or containers, any sort of sowing or growing information, any details that weren't included in the other columns, whether I'm starting them indoors, transplanting, or direct seeding, and what those dates are, where I'm going to put it, if there's a bloom period for things that have like flowers, whether it needs support, protection, if I have risk of pests and which ones, so that I'm conscious of that. I did add a column for collecting seeds so that I can note that for things I want to make sure I remember to collect at the end of the season. Any notes, and then links to the exact seed packet online, so if I need to pull it up and reference it, all of this is in one place. So it's a pretty large, I know, Junie's whining in the background. It's a pretty large spreadsheet, but my hope is that having everything in one place, whether I'm in the garden or in the basement planting seeds or whatever it is, I don't have to dig around and I can really quickly pull this up and get the information I need. And hopefully taking the time to set this up now means that each year I can do kind of small updates and I don't have to start from scratch. So if I change a variety of something I'm growing or add something, it can kind of be an evolving spreadsheet. So I'm going to pause here tonight. The herbs took a little while, so I'm going to pause there, and I'll slowly chip away at this throughout the week, and hopefully by the end of the week I'll have a fully entered spreadsheet and I'll be good to go. Wednesday evening. It's like 6:30. I feel like this week has been 2 weeks long. I've been chipping away at my spreadsheet, which has been taking forever, but I got through most of it. I still have to set all the dates, but I've got all the data in there. It was kind of like studying for a test. Like, I'm taking all the notes and it feels like extra work, but it's starting to sink in, and I was like picking up on little bits and seeing similarities, so that helped just to try to understand, you know, when to start things, what can be grouped together, etc. I'm in the basement now, as you can see, to start a few herbs. There are a couple that are slow growers, particularly Greek oregano, rosemary, and wild bergamot, I think. So I wanted to throw those in, get them started, see how things go, test out the setup, test out the seed starting mix. I'm going to use the black and gold seed starting mix first. Matt actually sent me an article today about the Coast of Maine seed starting mix, and it said that it was someone who had posted about having an issue with mold, and a lot of people were replying saying it has way too many nutrients in the seed starting mix. You don't want to like overdo it with things like compost and fertilizer, because the seed has everything it needs to germinate in the seed itself. So I am going to put a pause on that one. If it's a known issue, I don't want to like waste the seeds. So I might use that to transfer seedlings into once they get a little bit bigger, but I don't think I'm going to start the seeds from scratch in it. I have a couple of things here. I've got my cell packs, I've got a permanent marker and popsicle sticks to label the plants. I like to use the popsicle sticks and the marker. It does fade as you transfer things out to the garden, but by the time it's gone, you kind of know where everything is. You certainly can use plastic ones with the oil-based Sharpie, which lasts longer. It doesn't fade, but I like to try to keep things like relatively sustainable. These things will eventually break down. I'm gonna bring you over here and let's get some seeds started. Upstairs now. Are you ready for a few giggles? So I already made like several mistakes, but that's what this trial period is for, to work through the kinks. Number one, I forgot that the seed starting mix is hydrophobic, which means it's very dry. It will like repel or like resist the water when you water it. So you're supposed to pre-moisten the mix before you put it into the containers so that it will like accept the water. and I forgot to do that. I just put the soil in, or the seed starting mix in, completely dry. I mean, I sprayed it. It took on the water a little bit. So we'll see how it does. These may be duds. I mean, they have to try again. Hi, baby. Hello. Hello. Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2. I bought those lovely popsicle sticks for labeling.
Excuse me, your face is in the way.
And when I went to put the dome lid on top of the planted seeds, it was too tall. They were too tall. I don't know why this didn't occur to me. I think because I used those popsicle sticks outside last year and like obviously it wasn't covering them, so the height didn't matter. But now, because I have to put the dome lid on, which is like 2 inches tall, obviously they need to be short enough that you can like cover them. So I need to come up with a better labeling system. So my bad. Maybe I'll cut the popsicle sticks like shorter in half or something, and that way they can fit. We'll figure that out next. And then 3, I just picked one of the 3 different cell sizes I had. I thought, oh, well, these will be growing for a while. I'll just put them in the larger one so I can, you know, let them be. They can just kind of grow their roots and I won't have to like move them to a larger one halfway through the growing process. Well, those ones are taller than the smaller cell packs. So when I went to put the dome on top, it didn't fit. So now I know. Learned some great lessons tonight. Hopefully these will be okay. I have no idea. They might not be, but I do have extra seeds, so if I need to replant them, I can do that. The seeds, however, are so tiny. They are the tiniest seeds I've ever seen in my life. Like if I breathed too hard, they would have just gone everywhere. And I'm sure, I know there are other seeds like that that I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm gonna have to practice being very careful and keeping my long nails because it makes it much easier to like pluck them and put them into the soil. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. We will see if those take. I will focus on watering them and making sure they stay moistened, and hopefully we'll have something popping up in the next few weeks. I am just waiting for Matt to get home with some groceries, so I'm going to do a little bit of prep for meals. I'm gonna make a beef stew and a pasta salad for lunches, so I will share with you what I'm making or prepping for, and I will drop the links below in case you're interested in some new recipes. But thank you for joining me on this planting adventure. We will get better. We will learn things. It's gonna be great. I'm sure some of you were like, Molly, what are you doing? But yeah, this is all part of the process. Good morning, everyone. I just finished prepping the beef stew for dinner tonight. I chopped everything up last night, like the carrots, onions, garlic, potatoes, and then I just seared the beef this morning, so it was nice and flavorful, and I threw everything in the crock pot. I'll cook it on low for 7 to 8 hours, add the frozen peas, cook it for a little bit longer, add a little bit of flour to thicken it up, and in theory, it should be ready by dinner time. This is one of our favorite recipes. I've tweaked it a little bit here and there a few times. I don't usually put as much tomato paste as the recipe calls for, because then it's like really tomatoey, but you know, to each their own. So I'll drop the recipe in the description in case you're interested. I also started making the pasta salad last night, but I didn't finish it because some of the stuff is like better fresh. So I just did the pasta, lemon juice, Parmesan, basil, you know, and like salt and pepper, and I mixed that in a bowl. And then tomorrow when we have it for lunch, I'll just add up the diced cheddar, fresh cut cherry tomatoes, avocado, and corn. So that's just an easy cold or hot pasta salad depending on when you make it. I'm gonna drink my coffee. I need to go make the guest bed. And then I need to get ready really quickly and jump into work because it is going to be another busy day. Lots of meetings, lots of things to cram in. And then our friends will arrive tonight. I think I'm gonna wrap the vlog up here and I will catch up with you in the next one. I promise I have not forgotten about the office. We'll get there. I wish I could duplicate myself, honestly. There's just not enough time in the day for all the things I want to do. So we will get there. I think once we get into a rhythm with the seeds, those will kind of be self-sufficient to a degree and I can, you know, divert my focus elsewhere. But we'll do more seeds next week. I have a couple of small projects that I need to work on that might be an easy evening or weekend project, so if I have time I might squeak one of those in and I will of course share that with you. Thank you so much for watching this week. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe for future updates, and I will catch up with you next week.